In-house.
Jared Nuness, assistant men's basketball coach, Scott Drew in Baylor, Oklahoma, coming up on Wednesday. And that game that, to me, Jared, thanks for your time. A game to me that you guys just gutted that one out up in Norman, the way you finished the game. How much different are you than then, and vice versa with Oklahoma?
Well, I think right now we've really kind of been focusing a lot on the defensive end and trying to tighten some things up there, some rotation issues that we were having, and just positioning issues. And Oklahoma's a really good basketball team. He does a really good job. They run a lot of good stuff. So we feel a little bit more prepared this time around. I think we were last time, but I think they added some new wrinkles. So hopefully coming into the game tomorrow, we'll be a little bit more prepared on certain things they run, certain actions they run.
How does getting Everyday Jon back in the lineup change what you guys do defensively, even though I know that it was just 14 minutes the last time around, and I know that you're not going to go full complete boat with him yet, but how does he change the lineup defensively?
Oh, Jon you can't put value on his leadership, his experience, his toughness, and just his ability to understand where he needs to be and where the guys need to be at all times. And, obviously it was a tremendous boost for us to get him back. Very inspiring, emotional, but just from a basketball standpoint, just the things that he brings to our team, you just can't put on paper. And so we're excited to have him back. Hopefully he continues to get, even more in shape and more healthy. Having him back just from a leadership standpoint has been tremendous.
When did you know he was coming back?
We had a good feeling the last probably week or so. Once he started ramping up his workout, he started to feel more confident. His lateral movement has been improving every week. And then it was just a matter of, when he felt comfortable. We were going to support him no matter what. And whenever he felt that it was time, and, he was going to let us know. So I think coming into last week is when we all felt like, within the next few games he was going to be coming back.
Jared, I had what ultimately I thought was kind of a foolish thought about him when, Ashley kind of told us like, hey, Jon might play in this game. And I thought, that's probably, run him out there for a couple minutes, see how he does. And then it kind of occurred to me that would be foolish, knowing what I know about him, in that you can't just roll him out and go, all right, 2 minutes. Like, he's got to be ready to go pretty much full tilt, doesn't he?
Well, like you just said, if we all know Jon, and when Jon's about as competitive as it gets. So just trying to put a time restriction on him, I don't think that's going to go over pretty well. So he came in with the mindset, if he's ready to play, if he can play, he wants to play. So thankfully we were able to get him out a little bit earlier because we were playing well. But yeah, he was prepared to play as many minutes as we needed him to play.
Do you think that even though they had seen him working out, trying to get back, even in practices, guys like Jalen Bridges, Caleb Lohner, some of the new, even Keontae George, was it kind of, you think they were blown away by what they actually saw Saturday?
I don't think they were blown away. I think they experienced it in practice. They felt his energy. They understand how physical he is, how much passion he plays with. So I think once he was out there on the court with them, instead of them having to try to box him out in practice and try to, bang around on him in practice, them actually going to battle with him, I think just gave them a little bit of an extra boost. But I don't think they were surprised. They know what he brings every single day, even when he wasn't in practice every single day. They just know what he brings from just a physical standpoint and just a leadership standpoint.
Jared Nuness, again, Baylor men's basketball assistant coach with us on 365 Sports, Oklahoma on Wednesday. So, this conference, we know it's the best conference in America. We know what the score was basically against the SEC in that challenge. But the top team now has 3 losses. You guys in Kansas at times have been able to kind of run through the conference, at least in recent years, and not have many losses. How do you as an assistant coach describe what you see on an everyday basis in this league?
Just heavyweight bouts, man. Frazier and Ali. I just think that's why you got to take it one game at a time. You can't look ahead. Any one of these teams in this league, you can lose any single night. So you just got to take it, one game at a time. You have to prepare one game at a time. You can't go into it, trying to think about what you did last game or what they did against somebody else last game, because we got great coaches who make great adjustments like we do. So it literally is just one game at a time. And, it's an honor to play in the Big 12. We got great coaches, great teams, but it's a tough league. And you lose a lot of sleep. You got to prepare, and it's tough, but it's fun though. I mean, we wouldn't want it any other way. I mean, this is what you play for. This is what college basketball is all about. So just playing in the best conference in the country is a joy for us.
Jared, what's the difference when a game is your game to scout, to do that work ahead, scout, prep, whatever, compared to any other game?
No sleep. Wife's mad. The kids are mad. Don't spend a lot of time with the family for about 24 to 48 hours. But just not being able to turn your mind off, because you just, you want to have the team prepared, you want to have the staff prepared, and of course we do things together. But when it's your scout, you just want to make sure that you covered all your bases and that you put the guys in position to be successful as much as you can. So I love it, but it's also it can be pretty nerve-wracking and stressful. But like I said, I wouldn't have it any other way.
So do you have tips and tricks, or do you just know that when it starts, that this day or two, this is how it's going to be, and then you can just move on to the next one and wait until it's your turn in the rotation again?
Yeah, I mean, I started to get a little bit of routine just as far as, setting certain, my alarm for certain times when I want to sleep, and just eating right and getting my guys that work with me, my GAs, and having a schedule. And so I kind of have it down now when I'm trying to prepare. And then the tough part is when you got two back-to-back or one day in between, that becomes pretty tough. But you get used to it. And I think the biggest thing is just making sure you stay ahead of the curve. So even if I know I have one, let's say on Wednesday, in the game Saturday, I just try to stay ahead of the curve.
We spoke with Coach Drew about this. Jalen Bridges seemed like after West Virginia, even during that game, that once that game kind of got off his plate emotionally, whatever, that he just kind of changed. Do you kind of sense that too?
Absolutely. I think that just him being in that environment and him showing the mental toughness and what he had to kind of go through during those 2 hours up in West Virginia. And then the fact that he played well and we won the game, I think it just gave him a little bit more confidence. And ever since then, he's just kind of been skyrocketing and playing really well. So happy for him. I want him to continue. And the good thing with him is he's such a student. He wants to learn. We watch film all the time. He wants to improve. So as long as he keeps that attitude up, I think you're going to see him continue to grow and have a great finish to the year.
Baylor, Oklahoma tomorrow night. Jared, one more question, and thanks for your time today. This team has changed, and it doesn't mean that tomorrow's easy. It doesn't mean anything like that in the Big 12. Even the SEC game with Arkansas, we know what was that like. Oh, that was like to see this team growing up in front of you and meshing, the chemistry, getting Jon back, all that. Is it kind of hard to imagine how much better you are now than you were perhaps 2 or 3 weeks ago?
I wouldn't say it's harder. I think for us, we feel like we're a really good offensive team. We feel like, we're as good as anybody in the country offensively. We got a lot of weapons. We got a lot of talent. And I think when we play what we like to say the Baylor way, sharing the basketball, making things simple, trying not to take tough shots, we're pretty hard to beat offensively, hard to stop offensively. But what we need to really continue to improve on, and what the goal is for us, is just to become much, much better defensively. That's our focus. That's on that side of the ball. That's where we want to make the most improvements from now until March. And if we can do that, we like our chances of making a deep run in both tournaments and finishing strong at the end of the Big 12 season.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate your time. Go back to not sleeping and do what you do, getting ready for games. We appreciate all the time you give us. Jared Nuness, again, Baylor men's basketball coach with us on 365. I don't think you could understand